Welcome to another installment of TTRS GUE. Today I'm gonna go through some tips and tricks that I use that you know how I do it after my experience in ride sharing. First and foremost, I make sure my vehicle is ready to drive and making sure it's clean and it smells good. Smelling good doesn't mean overpowering scents either. I tend to use essential oils. That works. A lot of essential oils are also antimicrobial. Stuff like peppermint, eucalyptus and that kind of thing. It smells good. However, you can only use drops. If you use too much, it's gonna be really overpowering. And I just have a couple drops on some cotton in my AC vents, and that works. That keeps my car smelling fresh and clean, and it works for me. Also, music sets my mood in anything I do. If I'm going to the gym, I need to get amped, I go with amp music. But if I'm gonna drive and I want to relax, and you want your riders relaxed, you don't want your riders all hype, believe me. Go for some easy listening. I go for chill hop, jazz, house, that sort of thing. And I tend to have, I've never really had a really bad ride on aggressive driver. I've had some annoying customers, yes, but it goes with the territory, you know. I believe in being as efficient as you can be when it comes to ride sharing. I don't believe in driving excessively slow and stuff like that. People want to get where they want to go, so trying to do it as efficiently as possible is in your best interest. So I try to get people from point A to point B quickly but safely. For example, when it's coming to the end of the trip, when you notify that you're 1 minute or 2 minutes away from the destination, confirm with your rider, is this your last stop? And if it is, if you're a minute away or if you're 2 minutes away, you can end the trip. It's not going to make any difference in your fare. Ending the trip beforehand, especially if you have your phone displayed as you should, the rider is going to see their fare. They're going to be prepared to start to get their money ready if it's a cash trip. You also are going to see the fare, and you can start calculating the change for that in your head. So if you get to a drop-off point where you really can't stay too long, or you may be double parked or something like that, it makes the exit from the vehicle that more efficient. And sometimes there's some places where the data signal isn't that good, and you may have problems actually ending the trip on the app. For example, the basement in One Woodrow Place, because there's so much concrete and steel underneath there, sometimes it affects your data and you may have problems ending the trip. So ending it before you actually get downstairs is a good idea, you know. Safety is a big deal for us drivers, and you have to use your head, you have to be wise. It's always a good idea to have knowledge, some knowledge of the area that you're going to be driving into. And if it's a sketchy ride or an area that may be considered a hot spot, it's a good idea to stop for your pickup where you have an exit route. I don't ever stop exactly in front of where the map tells me. And if it's a sketchy area or a trip that I'm not sure about, I call my rider first. Calling your rider gives you a sense of who you're going to pick up. Follow your vibe, follow your gut. 2 o'clock in the morning, you get a rider and he sounds a bit ornery, sounds a bit off, whatever it may be. I won't take that ride, you know. If the person, however, is polite on the phone, they sound straight up, I'll be more inclined to take that trip. So let's say you have a pickup to do in a sketchy area, narrow street, one way in, one way out. It's always in your best interest to park somewhere or pull up somewhere where you can see all around you. It's not easy for you to get ambushed. You can reverse, you can turn around, stuff like that. Contact the rider, let them come outside from where they are, and then drive towards them. Again, still paying attention to your surroundings. During the trip as well, safety first. I'm always paying attention to my riders. Now some of them may not be too chatty, but I'll still try to engage them in some sort of talk, find out where they're at, find out where their head is at, feel them out. Let's be safe out there, you know. So one of the things I do as well, I like to provide at least water or mints for my riders. So in the pockets of each of my door, I have a bottle of water, and then I have a canister of mints here as well. It's not mandatory, but it helps. And also, if you're a preferred driver, it's kind of expected that you at least gonna have that for your riders, you know. I mean, you're offering a preferred service, so you're not a taxi. At the end of the day, you want to separate yourself from, you know, providing the service that a taxi would provide. So you're a cut above the rest. You're a TTRS driver, you know, you should show that. We also have to be wise about the trips we accept and the trips we decline. Now, there's an expectation that well, the app is going to send a request to the closest drivers, and there's an expectation that in the service that if you're the closest driver that you're going to take the trip. However, you may not always be comfortable with that trip, and that's fine, but at the end of the day, you're providing a service, and you have to remember, okay, TTRS is a company, but you're a representative of the company. It's a partnership. The better you serve your customers, the more customers are going to come on board, which means more rides. So you gotta be wise when it comes to choosing your trips, traffic conditions, time of day, that sort of thing. Generally, if it's during the day, I won't accept a trip that's over 5 kilometers. It doesn't make sense. Also, drivers are constantly coming off trips, and you accept a trip that far away, there may be another driver that's coming off of a trip that is going to be closer to you and better able to serve the customer. So don't be greedy. Taking trips that are too far away is also going to increase your cancellation rate. Customers are going to cancel on you if they have to wait too long. The only time I accept trips over 5 kilometers is at night, when there is no real traffic. I can zip down the highway and get to the customer as fast as I can. So use your head, be wise. My main tip and my main trick, I think gives me an advantage a lot of the times, is I have a separate device for ride sharing. It doesn't have to be a $5,000 phone, as long as it's a good working Android. I literally have it uncluttered. It only has navigation apps. The apps that I have on it are Trinidad Traffic Cams app. I have the driver app. I have the rider app for TTRS on it. I have Waze on it. I have Google Maps on it, and I have WhatsApp on it. That's all I really need. You don't want your processor, your GPS cluttered while you're driving, or you don't want your navigation interrupted by phone calls or messages coming in. You don't have to create a separate data account for it. I literally have one device for driving. It's always in my vehicle. It's always plugged in. As soon as I'm ready to drive, I put it in the holster, and I hotspot off of my main device to that device that I use only for driving, and that saves me a lot of headache. Also, for the newbies, it's always good to have the rider app on your phone. It helps you to place yourself in areas, especially at peak times for drivers. So the peak times for drivers coming out, especially part-time drivers, is anywhere around 4:30. That's when most people finish work, and that's when they're going to have the most drivers on the system at any point in time. You have a lot of rides then too, but you have a lot of competition for rides. So it's always good to place yourself not in the middle of a whole bunch of other drivers, where it's going to make it difficult for you to get trips. So use your head, look at the map, try to place yourself somewhere, probably on the peripheral of where all the other drivers are all ganged up. So you increase your probability of getting trips outside of that zone, you know. But that's it for tips and tricks. I don't know, hope some of it helps. You guys be safe out there. TTRS has provided a platform awesome platform. I think that's always improving. That puts a lot of money in our pocket. So be safe. Go out there and make that paper. See you soon.